Hello there and welcome back to Carry On Chronicles. I'm Adrian Paul. In this episode I'm going to take you around the streets of London. Some of the restaurants, some of the places I go, some of the places I actually grew up in, and some of the people that I'm going to meet along the way. Now, my trip started at LAX. For those of you who don't know the airport that well, it's a busy airport with a lot of construction happening currently in order to bring a rail system to reduce the amount of traffic at the airport. So, to that effect, beware and leave a little early to relieve the panic when the buses don't arrive on time. Here I am at the Tom Bradley Terminal, Terminal 4. As international terminals go, it's not that impressive, save for the giant video screen billboard that has some pretty interesting graphics, as you can see here. Images of a guy falling from a building that look pretty real. I'm not sure how often this will get updates, but with the Buster Keaton-esque type of material, it's pretty cool to watch. As far as dining and stores, it's really pretty limited. This vending machine was a welcome surprise, if it worked properly, which it didn't. Of course, the prices are pretty high, which is only to be expected at an airport. So now I'm off for a 10-hour flight on Virgin Atlantic, which is one of my favorite airlines for the transatlantic trip. Getting to London Airport was easy. Getting to London wasn't, since the car that was supposed to pick me up wasn't there. So a quick taxi ride and 40 minutes later, I was at the Hilton Hotel on Holland Park Road. The location was great, just a stone's throw away from Westfield shopping mall, which I'll get to later. Plus, it's close to central London and Notting Hill Gate with its funky little restaurants and stores. The Hilton turned out to have a great breakfast, but the rooms, not so good. They definitely are in need of updating and modernising. Now, with a busy schedule over the next couple of days, I decided not to succumb to jet lag and hop on a tube at Shepherd's Bush Station for the quick 8 stops to Tottenham Court Road in order to take a quick stroll around my old stomping grounds of Covent Garden. Covent Garden is a hive of activity with small streets now filled with a variety of stores selling every type of merchandise. There are theatres with productions of the latest plays or musicals. While on the street, a vast selection of street performers entertain the crowds as they shop, eat, or just meet up with friends.
So now we're going to look at the Pineapple Dance Studio, which is where I used to dance back in the 80s. The Pineapple Dance Studio right behind me here is where I spent a lot of time dancing, and I know another star from Star Trek actually who danced. She was actually the receptionist there. I did my jazz ballet there, and now they have even a store across the street.
It didn't look like that in my day. It was usually just a little alley with a couple of little doorways, and of course the Pineapple Dance Studio where my teacher Charles, an American, always berated us with his dry sense of humour. Now, no trip to London is complete without visiting Trafalgar Square, the venue for massive rallies and celebrations, as well as a place I used to go to as a young boy, visiting those fountains and feeding the pigeons ad nauseum who used to jump all over your head. But it's also the site of the National Gallery, which was founded in 1824, with a collection of over 2,300 paintings dating from the mid-13th century to the 1900s. Close by is Leicester Square, another well-known area for street performers, knick-knack stalls and movie theatres, of which the Odeon Theatre hosted the premiere of a film I was in called The Heavy. Right next to it is Chinatown, that has grown up kind of exponentially over the past 20 to 30 years, and now is hosting some of the best Chinese food in the country. Back in the day, us denizens of the night who strolled out from the clubs in the late hours would flock here, needing some sustenance to soak up the alcohol that we consumed. Of course, that was normal. We were English. The Soho area has been synonymous for various types of entertainment for years. This is Rodney Scott's. I used to frequent it when it became a club midweek, but other than that, it was legendary for jazz and many other famous artists that went there. As well as Old Compton Street, which I remember mainly because my first girlfriend worked in a music management office in one of the buildings. We boasted artists such as the mega hit reggae band Steel Pulse, and I was always very fond of that group. But it also had an avid number of bars and pubs and adult stores, which it still has today. This pub I used to work in, where I got my first introduction to working actors, who always came in for drinks after performing Jesus Christ Superstar at the Palace Theatre around the corner. When you now move up Wardour Street, you find a slew of great restaurants, which are mixed with a number of adult sex shops and adult venues that Soho is actually renowned for, but don't let that fool you. The restaurants are excellent. So now it was getting late, I decided to round off the day down memory lane, passing through the famous Carnaby Street. There is no dispute, Carnaby has an iconic heritage, built in 1682 by bricklayer Richard Tyler, who laid out Carnaby Street itself, and it took its name from Carnaby House, spelled with a K, the first house built on the street. It continued its illustrious heritage, becoming the birthplace of swinging London in the 1960s, as well as the home of mods, skinheads, punks and new romantics, to the abundant stores and restaurants that are there today. On Kingley Street, that is now, as you can see, full of outdoor dining, there was another club I used to visit weekly during the Saturday Night Fever era, where dancing in the middle of the floor shirtless with white trousers that didn't stay white for long was a practice I seem to remember doing. Now that it was getting late, it was time to get back to Westfield and meet my brother for a quick snack before going to bed and getting a few Z's. So here I am in Westfield, actually in West London, just around the corner from my flat, which you will see, where I used to own a property. It's a huge mall now, beautiful mall with a lot of different designers and foods, and we just had lunch up at the area up top there. So now we have a little problem, because coming out of Westfield, we kind of forgot where the car is. We've been looking around now for the car, we can't find it. As you can tell, it's pretty big. So make sure that you remember where to put the car, because sometimes in these underground car parks, you can't figure out where you parked it because the actual locator button won't work and the alarm won't work. So what we've done is we've actually been able to locate the car based on the fact that they know where you came in at, and they tell you which level you went in. We didn't go down enough levels. We actually came out down only one level instead of two. So we're trying to figure out now if we can find that car, but they're pretty good. So just push the intercom next time and see where you can actually find your car that way. Now maybe we will. Okay, so we found it down there. Look how many cars there are in this parking lot. Don't forget to watch part 2 on our next episode. Thank you for watching, and please share.